Hey, what's going on, guys? Dipolarian Flemmy here, and today you are in for quite the episode of Shortness. This is a quick video so you guys don't think I'm dead. Anyway, today is the day that you might have guessed from the title that we are talking about the banned episode Beauty and the Beach from Pokemon versus the controversial Yokai watch episode Yokai B3-NK1. Since I usually divide it into certain plot points, we'll do the same thing, kind of. The categories will be the good, the bad, and the ugly for each episode. And since you already know what the ugly is, let's start off with the good. Quick summary for all you newbies. For Beauty and the Beach, basically Ash and Co crash a boat and then get themselves involved in a squabble between some old dude and some unknown aged chick. With them with the old guy and Team Rocket with the girl. For Yokai B3-NK1, basically B3-NK1 is a yokai who steals screws that make machines work, and he tries to steal Rabanyan's screw. Alright, first let's start off with Beauty and the Beach. Now this episode does get a bad rap, and for a good reason, but besides that reason, and a few I will list soon, this episode's actually kind of not bad. My favorite part of the episode is the somewhat rivalry that Brutella and Milo have, and having Team Rocket and Ash and Co. being the proxy battles to their Cold War. And the best part of the episode is actually just a 3 to 5 minute montage of Ash and Team Rocket fighting over customers. It's really relaxing and all and just good fun. And the episode surely needed that good fun, because it tried to have way too much fun, if you know what I mean. Anyway, the reason I like the moment in particular is just because it feels in character for both sides. This episode is super weird, especially in characterization. And the problem I have with it is that Ash and Co steal a boat, which is not in character for them all. You know what? The small rivalry actually makes this episode watchable. Well, if you could sit through the ugly, I mean. But first, let's talk Yokai. So much is just great about this segment. This episode takes very little time, and the main joke gets right into it, so, at only 3 minutes in. Now, since most of the episode is actually the ugly, I will only be able to speak about the atmosphere that adds to the comedy. This episode adds absurdity to itself easily, and things like facial expressions really make it funnier and just overall more zany. Now for the bad. For Beauty and the Beach, there's a small bit of bad. A small one, like I said, was the boat scene, which made absolutely no sense for these guys to hijack a boat, even on accident. It just makes the plot feel really forced and not in a good way. Is there even a good way to force a plot? And one other huge thing is that it's super annoying was Gary. The writers probably felt like he barely had anything to do with Ash, so they gave him this episode to just throw in at the end. However, Gary just shows up out of nowhere. In fact, Oak and Delia show up randomly. Once again, the plot is forcing itself onto you. You know, this episode really likes to force uncomfortable things onto its viewers. What else it's forced upon you? Well, let's discuss that after I discuss Yokai Watch. I actually really don't have any negatives for this episode. Well, yeah, it's weird. The only real thing I'd say is that maybe the Rabanyan exploding scene should have come before Rabanyan losing a screw. I get that wouldn't really actually make sense, considering B3-NK1 takes the screw, causing the explosion, but pacing-wise, I feel the explosion could have come sooner, so the climax would have actually happened sooner, although something does climax sooner. But yeah, that's just it for this episode. Well, now, this is what you all been waiting for. The ugly. Why Beauty and the Beach is banned. The sexualization in this episode is unprecedented. I'll tell you right now, there's only really 4 times sexualization is mentioned in the English version, and only like 2 additional for Japanese. However, the sexualization in this children's show is problematic due to what exactly sexualized. One of the times is when Gary's cheerleaders come on stage and everyone sings for them. I mean, it's not funny, but it's not really that offensive. However, 3 out of the 4 times sexualization is meant in the English dub when it comes to Misty. Come on, Japan. What the fuck is wrong with you? And you too, America. What the fuck? How did you let this dub? How did you get this far in production? The first time is okay. I mean, gross, trying to make her somewhat sexy, but it's mostly for a joke and not for the seki, so I guess I can live with it. Not really, but Let's get to this. Let's just get this moment out of the way real quick.
This is all a big mistake.
You remind me of my granddaughter.
Ow! Both gross and uncomfortable. Hilarious! Oh my god! Now, before we watch the worst instance of sexualization in this show, you may wonder why I'm not addressing the James stuff. Well, to be quite honest, it's tame. Now, don't get me wrong, children shouldn't be able to see this kind of stuff in Pokemon. However, this next line is actually the worst part of the episode, and it's so much worse because it actually went into dubbing.
This is totally embarrassing and degrading, but we need the money.
What the fuck? Misty, what the hell are you doing? This is the ugliest Pokemon has ever gotten. I swear, Pokemon must be sponsored by a goddamn whorehouse because Misty, I kid you not, is trying to normalize prostitution. She's straight up. Now you may be like, Torchic, she's just being... Fuck, you're right. I mean, she isn't teaching, but holy shit. Exactly what the fuck at the actual fuck. I know this quote did not get the episode banned, but it really should have, because what the actual fuck? Okay, that, well, come back soon. We gotta get Yokai Watch out of the way before I talk about this, so let's just get this really quickly. As for Yokai Watch, it's not as bad, as Pokemon. It's just interesting. Mr. Urbanian has, he gets a little, ticklish. Now, I know I went full rant mode last time, but I'm just cutting this one shorter and just saying it's funny. I mean, with a probably 100-plus-year-old robot cat and a living machine getting frisky is way less offensive than what Pokemon decided to do. Now, let's just compare. Now, obviously, B3-NK1 wins by a long shot. Let's just not review the good versus bad and the bad versus bad, but instead why B3-NK succeeds with the ugly but not Pokemon. Well, here's a few obvious ones. Maybe don't use human characters. Maybe don't use minors. And also, maybe not protagonists. Now, even if Pokemon did all of this, it probably still wouldn't have worked. See, the biggest reason B3-NK1 comes out on top is because of its absurdity. Pokemon didn't try to make what was happening on screen look bad or exaggerated. Instead, it just let it happen. It paid no attention. It tried to normalize it. Yokai Watch just made it absolutely absurd. Bitch, ain't nobody gonna replicate a sword fight where one child gets hella stabbed to get tickled. It's not a fair fight. Get two swords! No. While a child may be watching Pokemon and hears Misty say that one really stupid-ass sentence, and since Pokemon barely made an attempt to make it seem not bad, the child just goes, I guess whenever I don't have money, I could just show my body. And that's really why the episode got banned. Well, for the actual sexualization stuff was, like, in your face, and that's why it actually got banned. But really, it's the implications that keep it down. And yeah, I know it's pretty obvious that B3-NK1 is doing a little bit more than tickling Robanian, but technically speaking, it doesn't say anything. The dub simply say he's being tickled. That's it. And a bunch of concerned parents are like, no, my child would be a porn addict. But the thing is, this isn't Beauty and the Beach. 1. Absurdity protects children from replicating any and all quote-unquote pornographic scenes. Next, if your child gets the sex joke, and if you think they'll get it and it'll alter their minds, well, you're a bit too late. If I sat a 3-year-old in front of B3-NK1, they wouldn't have a clue about the sex stuff, and that won't make them a porn addict. And if I sat a 10-year-old in front of the same episode, well, they'll probably get the joke, but really that usually just means they're already fucked in the long run. Basically, to end the video, all I want to say is, in general, maybe don't expose kids to sex stuff. But if your TV is already doing that job for you, well then as long as it doesn't portray it in any way that normalizes it or makes it appealing, then children are either fine or fucked either way. Bye!